What up, fans of the sport? What up, it's Lamette with Salah Sports TV. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Frank Martin. I smell something funny. But no, Frank Martin, bro. Alright, so we were supposed to get a big fight with Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. I'm not gonna say like big fight, but it was a decent sized fight, right? I mean, honestly, Shakur Stevenson his resume ain't really all that good because of shit like this. All right, so the elephant in the room is that we were supposed to get a fight between Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin, right? And the fight was ordered, right? It was ordered. I want to say, who ordered it? I want to say WBO, but I could be wrong. It could be the IBF or something like that. Not sure what sanctioning body ordered it, but the fight was ordered, and it was going to a purse bid. So we would for sure going to get that fight, most likely through ESPN, right? That fight was going to be brought to you by ESPN. Well, come to find out, Frank Martin has been pulled from the fight. So that fight's canceled. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, drop it in the comments, right? But I didn't hear anything about an injury. I didn't read anything about Frank Martin being hurt or being injured in camp or anything like that. I just saw that they pulled Frank Martin out of the fight. I'm not gonna do like the whole knee-jerk reaction thing. Calling Frank Martin scared, calling Frank Martin a duck. I don't think it's that at all, right? I'm not even a Frank Martin fan, right? I think he's a good fighter, right? He's a good fighter, very physical. He fights, I mean, almost identical to Errol Spence, right? Which leads me to another point. It's not so much that I think that Frank Martin is scared or he pulled himself out of the fight or anything, because I don't think that. Like, this is gonna be a decent payday for him. You know, he was gonna make somewhere around $1 million, where he ain't done that yet. So I'm sure, I don't think he's happy about this. You know, I don't think he's happy about this. Now, Frank Martin seems to be a team guy, so he's not going to come out and start bashing people, you know. But I think we know why this happened, don't we? We know why this happened. Like, if you saw that fight in July 29th between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, like, a fight like this would be a mini version of that, right? Well, Lamette, why do you say that? See, I'm not just saying it for no reason, but the similarities are there. Like I just said, Frank Martin is his style. He likes to throw the jab, slip, go to the body, jab, slip, go to the body, jab, slip, and you know, he likes to break guys down with pressure like that. You know, just a steady workload. Shakur Stevenson he literally trains with Terrence Crawford, right? Him and Terrence Crawford work out a lot. They're both southpaws. Lots of similarities. Shakur Stevenson doesn't have that natural power that Bud has, but he still hurts guys. He still get guys hurt with punches they don't see, you know, and get them out of there. So I don't think he's quite the power merchant that Bud Crawford is, but he probably is he's a faster fighter than Bud is or was at that weight, right? He's a lot faster. So lots of similarities between the Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight and the Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin fight. But I will say this, man. Shakur Stevenson is he's getting a little bit of what's that word? Karma, right? He did a lot of snake shit toward Devin Haney, to me, in my opinion. Now, I'm not gonna go too far off the deep end because these guys are fighters. They're supposed to want to fight each other, right? But to me, the way he did that, the way he handled that Devin Haney Lomachenko thing in the ring and getting up there and saying, I think Lomachenko won. I think really it should be me versus Lomachenko. All that wasn't a good look, right? Like he's secretly recording Haney's father, and like I don't think a lot of that stuff didn't make him look good, right? And I just want to see the energy stay the same, like you did a lot of shit calling out Devin Haney when that man didn't owe you anything. You just moved up to the weight to 135, right? You lost your belt on the scale at 130. You move up to 135 and you instantly feel entitled to a fucking title shot to the guy with all the belts who did the work. Like he's just supposed to come and give you a title shot. Nah, I didn't like that. So I think it's gonna be a little rough for Shakur Stevenson. It could be. Now, what I don't understand is why can't we get that Shakur Stevenson versus Jermaine Ortiz fight? I think that'd be a good fight. I would love to see that. I think that's a good matchup. I don't think Shakur Stevenson is gonna run through that guy. Right? I think that's a tough fight for Shakur because that guy is just as athletic as he is. That guy is just as athletic as he is and probably hits harder, right? I would give Shakur the speed advantage, but it's fights for him to make. And if I'm not mistaken, Jermaine Ortiz is over there on that side, on the top ranked side. But back to the Frank Martin thing, we shouldn't be surprised about him being pulled out of that fight. Like they're not gonna they know what happens when their guys go against top ranked guys, right? And I was honestly surprised that they didn't shoot this fight down sooner. That's why I didn't really speak on it, because I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, PBC is really gonna let Frank Martin go into this fight? Man, they really are. They are cashing all their guys out. And I'm gonna tell you another fight that we gotta be looking out for. And if you follow this channel, I like David Benavidez. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's not quite on my pound for pound list of fighters, but just me, like looking at his fighting style, the way he fights, I love the way David Benavidez fights. Right? I also like Demetrius Andrade, but the thing about it is, one of these guys has been on Top Rank. One of these guys was a top ranked fighter. For a while. And I don't know, man. I'm starting to have some doubts about that fight, honestly. I don't know if we're going to get the Benavidez versus Andrade fight. As good as that fight is on paper, I love the fight. I think that fight is a huge, huge fight. I think it has the aesthetic value that all boxing fans are looking for. Two major league contrasted styles. But Demetrius Andrade was a top-ranked fighter. I mean, he could go in there and legit embarrass David Benavidez. I don't want to see that, right? I don't really have a dog. I like both guys. I don't really care who. That would be one of those fights I just want to see who wins and comes out on top, right? But Benavidez is the top-ranked fighter. You got to tread lightly with those guys. When you're a PBC guy, you can't just be signing contracts against and fighting top-ranked people like that. Willy-nilly. You better know what the fuck you're doing. Now, I'm not counting Benavidez out by any stretch of the imagination. His skill set speaks for itself, right? We don't see that skill set too often. So, it wouldn't be a cakewalk for either fighter. Andrade, he's going to have to deal with some shit too. He's got to owe. Both these guys got O's on their record. Neither guy has been beaten. Both guys have been dropped, but neither guy has been beaten in a boxing match. So, yeah. But I'm not, honestly, I'm back to the point, I'm not sure if we're going to get that fight for the same reason we didn't get this Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson fight. That's what I believe. Tyson Fury is still a piece of shit. What else is new, right? Like, can we get him out of boxing? It's a few guys we need out of boxing. Tyson Fury, right? We need him out of boxing. Jamal Charlo, what the fuck, man? Why does he get to keep the belt for going on 3 years? Why is he hanging out with Mauricio Solomon at his house? Taking pictures with the guy's family and all that. Like, Mauricio Solomon. All right, Tyson Fury, Jamal Charlo, Mauricio Solomon, they need to go too. And by extension, I'm going to include some honorary guys who need to go too. It's not so much they have done anything egregious or done anything like really super wrong or anything like that, but they are like kind of wearing out their welcome a little bit. Deontay Wilder, right? Like, after all these years, after all the bullshit, he still can't deliver a fight, right? Like, why is Deontay Wilder negotiating so hard? Like, dude, all you did was get your ass whipped by Fury 3 times. Well, twice. Right? That's all you did. And it's like he comes away from those ass whippings feeling like he's on Mount Rushmore or some shit. Like, dude. So, hey man, I'm not gonna belabor the point. You know, I'm not surprised about the Frank Martin thing. I would have been more surprised if PBC had let him go into a fight against Shakur Stevenson, honestly. But hey, back to the drawing board for Shakur. Hopefully he can find an opponent. We'll see what happens. That's all I got. If you like the video, go ahead and just stick your chin out just a little bit over your lead leg. Just a little bit, right? Just enough to draw that jab out. As soon as the jab comes out, slip that motherfucker and throw your right hand counter to the like button. Peace.